What's up, guys? James Carter TV, continuing my 2016 NFL Draft recaps, and today we're talking about the Washington Redskins. Now, let me preface this video by making a little bit of a comment. Now, I'm already starting to consider what my win-loss predictions will be for each and every team in the NFL, and the Washington Redskins are one of those teams that I'm struggling with. Because they won the division last year, as all of you know, and it was a surprise to everyone, even Redskins fans. I mean, let's be honest, Redskins fans, you didn't expect to win the division. And everyone's expecting the Redskins to lose the division, right? They're not going to repeat. There hasn't been a repeat winner in the NFC East in how many years they're not going to do it. But man, Scott McCloughan continues to draft well, and man, the Redskins are looking like the best team in the NFC East, and we're going to get into that today. Let's talk about this great draft that Scott McCloughan absolutely brought in. And let's start with their first round pick, 22nd pick overall, because they moved down one spot with the Houston Texans. Why? No one knows. And they took wide receiver Josh Doctson out of TCU. I'm a big fan of Josh Doctson. Now, a lot of people want to believe that he's the best prospect in this draft, that he's better than Laquan Treadwell, better than Corey Coleman, blah, blah, blah. Now, he's definitely better than Corey Coleman, because I'm on the record saying Corey Coleman's going to be a bust at the NFL level. I'd be damn near bust. I mean, in terms of being drafted 15, first wide receiver taken, yeah, he's going to be a bust. He's going to put up 600 yards every year, and everyone's going to say, okay, he was a bust. But Josh Doctson, I like him less than Laquan Treadwell, but man, a little bit less, because Josh Doctson in his own right is a damn great wide receiver. This guy knows how to get the ball out of the air. The ball is up in the air. I'm taking it. I'm grabbing it for a touchdown. You see elite ability to catch balls, spectacular catches, a good speed. You know, the speed thing has been a big critique of Doctson. He didn't run slow. I mean, he ran a 4.5 something, 4.54 at the 40 or in the pro day or combine, whatever. You know, that's not slow, but no, he doesn't have elite speed. This guy can just go up there and grab the football for you. And he also ran a good amount of rights at TCU, more than they run at Baylor, not as much as Laquan Treadwell, which is why, again, I prefer Laquan Treadwell, but being a nice safety blanket for Kirk Cousins. And I think he compares a lot to DeAndre Hopkins, who came out of Clemson with similar concerns like Josh Doctson. And I'm really excited to see where Josh Doctson goes. And you look at the need for the Washington Redskins. I think defensive tackle was their biggest need, or, you know, just any sort of five technique defensive end or nose tackle, right? So the need wasn't high, but it was there, because I think Pierre Garçon is damn near done, and Deshaun Jackson, I think you should re-sign him. I'm not sure you will, but I would re-sign him. I think he's deserved that. I think he's played well, and I still think he has the fire and heart to play football. But also, Jamison Crowder played well last year, so I think the need is there. They took him. I don't think they're going to regret it. I think they have a guy that after this year is going to be a 1,000-yard receiver for years and years to come. A pick that they will not regret. I give it an A, and the only reason it's not an A+ is because I'm still a Laquan Treadwell fanboy. Everyone's gotten off the bandwagon. They say he's slow. They say he won't be able to separate. I'm still there, and watch me when I'm right in years to come. We move on to the second round, safety / linebacker Cravens out of USC. Now, this is a guy that was under, you know, how can I say this? Under some criticism lately, I should say. He had the potential to be a first-round pick. I mean, you saw some mock drafts that had Cravens pegged as a first-rounder. I never thought he was a first-rounder. But he's a guy that I like where he comes from in terms of that Polynesian football background, because they've been funneling a lot of players in the NFL lately, more than usual. Like he's a distant cousin of Manti Te'o, distant cousin of this guy and that guy. Go look at his family tree. It's incredible. But these guys, although they're not great, a lot of them, they have nice football acumen. And coming out of USC, I was able to see that from play to play. He has good football acumen. When it comes to athleticism, I think his athleticism is slightly overrated. And some people say, I know Louis T. Louis T, who may end up watching this video because this is the Redskins recap. He says, okay, the Redskins have finally added great athleticism, or not, maybe not great, he didn't say great, but they finally added athleticism to their defense by adding Super Cravens, and I'm not so sure about that, because this is a guy that I think has average weak side linebacker speed at the NFL. I think it's average. I think there's a lot of people better and a lot of people worse. I think it's average speed at that position. Really, I think it's his intelligence that sets him apart, and he already has a better than average football IQ for his position than a lot of the guys coming out. And I think that's where he wins. I think the upside is limited, but I do like to pick ultimately. I don't know if they're going to play him a safety or linebacker or whatever, but either way, I give it a B+. We move on to the third round, 84th pick overall, cornerback Kendall Fuller. And we just talked about pedigree and, people that have, his family members and whatnot when we're talking about Cravens. And this is more direct with Kendall Fuller, because the Fullers have been coming in the NFL for the past 10 years. We had Vincent Fuller, we had Corey Fuller, who was drafted a couple years ago, and Vincent Fuller was a Tennessee Titan, so I know him well, and now we have Kendall Fuller, and I'm sure there's another Fuller that I'm missing. Now, these Fullers have not been very good. They've been fine. None of them have been horrible. I think one of them was. But Vincent Fuller was a starter for 7 years, and Corey Fuller has been fine, but not great. And I think this is yet again the story. I think Kendall Fuller will be fine. He's not a great athlete. He's a fine athlete. Maybe a little bit better than average in terms of NFL cornerback athleticism. Size less than average, 5'11", 187 pounds, but he's scrappy. And people loved Vernon Hargreaves for this, so we have to love Kendall Fuller for that, although I was never a big Vernon Hargreaves fan, by the way. So I like the scrappiness. I like the football attitude mentality. I wonder if he's only going to be a slot corner. He can play outside, but I think, man, he'll get shredded by Julio Jones. I don't think he has the strength, the athleticism, or the size to compare or to compete with Julio Jones with the elite wide receivers at the NFL level. But the lower wide receivers, like maybe a Rashard Matthews or a Kendall Wright, I think he'll be able to handle, and he'll be a fine corner at the end of the day. You like his ball skills. A lot of pass breakups, a good amount of interceptions. That's where he's going to make his money. But I think he'll be a little overrated in that aspect, like Marcus Peters, who makes the highlight plays but gives up a lot of yards. And you're going to have to live with that. So I give it a B+. We move on to the 5th round. Didn't have a 4th rounder. I think they traded it or something like that. Yeah, they did trade it for picks this year and next year. 5th round, Matt Ioannidis. I spy an Ioannidis out of Temple. Now, strong. I mean, this guy is absolutely strong. I think he put up the most bench press reps at the combine, which is very impressive for the defensive line group. I mean, how you're able to post that record, I don't know, because there's a bunch of strong guys there. White kid comes and he puts it up, and he ran a 5.0340. Now, who cares about the 40 when it comes to defensive linemen, right? Yeah, okay, but if you're that strong and you're still running that speed, hey, you have my intrigue. Didn't produce that much at Temple. As a pass rusher, really didn't produce that much at Temple. So I question, where is this strength? Because, man, you should be bench pressing folks. You should be bench pressing centers, throwing them out of the way, and tackling running backs. I mean, Robert Nkemdiche is a guy that already in practice was just bench pressing guys, right? Matt Ioannidis should have the same story, but I didn't see that type of production. But in terms of just physical ability, and this is the 5th round, and he can start. And the biggest need for the Redskins was on their defensive line. They filled the need. Great value. 5th round, you're getting an athletic freak here. I love the pick. I give it an A. I just question, where was the production, man? But in the 5th round, you get away with it a little more. Let me give it an A-, actually. Let's move on to the 6th round. 187th pick overall. Quarterback Nate Sudfield out of Indiana. I'm not a big Nate Sudfield fan at all. You know, he has an NFL arm. He has okay accuracy, but man, this guy cannot read the field. Can't find open receivers. Throws way too many interceptions where he just really missed linebackers, missed cornerbacks, just lazy ball placement, or maybe just insufficient ball placement from time to time. Size is pretty good, 6'6", 234 pounds, so you like that. But I'm not a big size guy when it comes to quarterbacks. I mean, once you get over 6'3", 6'4", who cares? Can you throw the football? Can you throw it well? Learning how to make NFL throws is going to be the biggest challenge for this guy, and I'm not sure he's ever going to be able to do it. I give it a C. We move on to the 7th round. Linebacker Stephen Daniels out of Boston College. 7th round, I want you to find guys that can play special teams, especially when we're talking about linebackers. I'm not sure he's going to have that ability. He's a guy that has okay speed. In terms of tackling, is a fine tackler, but didn't really blow my socks off at Boston College at all. I'm not sure what kind of role he's going to have at the NFL level. I give it a B-, and we end with the 7th round. Running back Keith Marshall out of Georgia, I give it an A+. In the 7th round, I want you to find guys that can play special teams, guys that can get on the field for a nice little trick play and whatnot. I want you to find athleticism, and this guy, oh my God, he reeks of athleticism. 5'11", and this guy put up the most bench press reps. Guy had the fastest 40 at 4.3, 140. There were questions about his knees. His knees look fine to me with that 4.3, 140. I'm not sure he's ever going to learn how to be able to look at an offensive line, find holes in the offensive line correctly, have good vision. I'm not sure he's ever going to be able to do any of that. But in terms of pure athleticism in the 7th round, that's what the 7th round is about, man. You got to take athletes, you got to put them on the field, you got to see and hope that they can figure it out, and they did it here. That's what the 7th round is all about. They get an A+ for me. And we look at this Washington Redskins draft, and we put in all these grades in my GPA calculator. And it spit out a 3.51 GPA out of 4, which is equal to an A-. I really like this draft from Scott McCloughan. Now, I think they got a star in Josh Doctson. I think they found starters in Cravens and Kendall Fuller and Matt Ioannidis. That's what the draft's about. You found 4 starters. Good. I mean, that is great return on your investment. I don't think Nate Sudfield will be on the team much longer, to be honest. I'm not a big Nate Sudfield fan at all. Keith Marshall may have a role, may not, but you took a risk, and that's what the 7th round is all about. And Stephen Daniels, I don't have much expectations for at all. But again, I think this is the 3rd highest GPA I've given out, maybe the 4th, behind the Green Bay Packers, behind the Jacksonville Jaguars, and behind the Indianapolis Colts. Right now, because I'm not done with the draft recaps, but you have to take that. A great draft by the Washington Redskins, who continue to build one hell of a football team that the NFC East better start being fearful of. Don't expect this division to change hands because, man, Scott McCloughan keeps building a monster in the nation's capital. And, man, that should be scaring some folks. Until next time, James Carter TV, I'm out. Peace.